They told me not to speak. They told me to come here, wear a suit, smile for the cameras, nod politely, and return home like a good servant. But I did not come here to beg. I came to tell the truth. You speak of peace while your hands drip with the blood of our people. You speak of development, while stealing the gold beneath our soil. You build schools that teach us to hate ourselves. You send your media to teach us that our skin, our names, our gods, and our ways are backwards. And then you call it aid. You've taken everything, and when we stand up to reclaim it, you call us rebels. You fund the very terror you say you are helping us fight. You arm militias in the dark, and in the daylight you send condolences. But we are no longer fooled. Africa is not poor. Africa is being looted. Our poverty is not a result of our laziness. It is the consequence of your greed. We do not lack intelligence. We lack freedom, true freedom. And that freedom will not be given. It must be taken. I stand here not as a leader but as a son of Africa, a continent whose womb has carried the weight of the world for centuries, whose children have been scattered, enslaved and forgotten. But no more. We are rising. You can silence the cameras. You can block the broadcasts. You can shut down our voices in your chambers. But you cannot stop the fire that is awakening in the hearts of African youth. We are reading, we are organizing, we are remembering who we are, and we will not bow again. You call it forbidden when truth threatens your lies. You call it dangerous when justice threatens your power. But I did not come here to be safe. I came here to be free. So let the world hear this. Africa will write its own future, in its own language, with its own hands. And this time, we will not ask for permission. We will not kneel. We will rise together, unstoppable, unafraid. You tried to bury us, but you forgot. We are seeds. Africa is not poor, Africa is being looted. This is the truth they never wanted the world to hear. The image they've painted of us is one of helplessness, hunger, and constant need. But that image is a lie. Africa is not suffering because her people are weak, or incapable. Africa suffers because her wealth is being drained, her rivers of gold, her mountains of diamonds, her soil soaked with oil. All stolen, exported and sold, while our children go hungry and our streets remain broken. How can a land so rich in resources be so poor in condition? The answer is simple. Theft, not fate. For generations they have stripped us of our riches and told us to be grateful for their crumbs. They come with promises of aid, but leave with ships full of our minerals. They talk of development, but it is they who build empires with the blood and sweat of our land. We are not poor. We are being robbed in broad daylight, and they expect us to stay silent, to stay obedient, to stay blind. But the eyes of Africa are opening. We do not lack intelligence. We do not lack talent. We do not lack dreams. What we have been denied is freedom. Not just political freedom but economic freedom, educational freedom, and the freedom to define our own destiny. They fear the African mind when it is awake. They fear the African spirit when it is free. Because they know once we remember who we are, nothing will stop us. You tried to bury us but you forgot. We are seeds. Every act of injustice you committed against us, every resource you stole, every lie you spread, all of it has only made us grow stronger. You thought that if you erased our history we would forget. But now we are remembering. We are remembering our kings, our queens, our warriors, our inventors, our philosophers. We are remembering the power that flows in our blood. And we are rising. We are reading. We are organizing. We are educating ourselves and each other. We are waking up from the deep sleep of colonial lies and reclaiming what was always ours. No longer will we let foreign hands write our story. No longer will we beg for dignity. We were born with it. You can silence the cameras. You can block the broadcasts. You can call our voices radical or dangerous. But you cannot stop the fire awakening in our hearts. It is burning in every village, every city, every youth. This fire cannot be negotiated with. It cannot be reasoned with. It will not fade, it will only grow. We are not asking for permission anymore. We are taking back what belongs to us, our land, our wealth, our pride. Africa will no longer be your resource warehouse. Africa will no longer be your experiment, your dumping ground, your silent partner. Africa will no longer be silent. Africa will write its own future, in its own language, with its own hands, and we will write it with the ink of truth and the power of unity. We are not waiting for change. We are becoming the change. Every African child that opens a book, every farmer that stands his ground, every woman that leads her community, they are all part of this revolution. You tried to destroy us, but we were never yours to destroy. Now we rise, unshaken, unafraid, and unstoppable. We do not lack intelligence. We lack freedom, true freedom. For too long the world has looked at Africa through the lens of pity, as if we are a people forever dependent, forever behind, forever broken. But what they fail to see, or rather what they deliberately ignore, is the brilliance that lives within our people, the genius buried beneath centuries of chains. We have been told we are not capable, that we cannot govern ourselves, that we need supervision, direction, permission. But none of this is true. The truth is that we are as intelligent, as capable, as visionary as any other people on this earth. What we have lacked is not intellect, not creativity, not the will to build, but the space to be free, free from control, free from manipulation, free from the invisible systems that keep us beneath while pretending to lift us up. Our minds have always been sharp, from the ancient libraries of Timbuktu to the royal courts of Kemet. From the architects of the great Zimbabwe, to the healers and scientists, rooted in our indigenous knowledge systems. Our ancestors were thinkers, builders, innovators. We are descendants of people who studied the stars, who mapped the land, who understood the language of nature, long before any colonizer set foot on this continent. Intelligence is not foreign to Africa. Oppression is. They colonized our lands, but worse, they tried to colonize our minds. They built schools not to enlighten us, but to erase us. They told us to forget our names, our gods, our languages. They told us to copy, not to create. They trained us to serve, not to lead. And still, we rose. Still, we learned. Still, we broke through their walls of lies with the fire of truth. But even now, as we try to reclaim our path, the systems that govern the world refuse to let us breathe. What they fear is not our poverty. They built that. What they fear is our awakening. Because when the African mind is truly free, there is nothing more powerful. When the African child believes in their worth, when the African youth walks with purpose, when the African mother leads with pride, when the African elder speaks and is heard, this is what terrifies the world built on our silence. This is why our education is still borrowed, our economy still tied, our politics still influenced. They do not want us to think for ourselves. They want us dependent. They want us reactive, not proactive, but we are beginning to see through the mask. And once you see, you cannot unsee. Once you taste truth, you cannot return to lies. Once you feel your chains, you begin to break them. Our intelligence is not just in books, it is in our culture, our resilience, our innovation under pressure, our survival in the harshest conditions. Our intelligence is in the way we keep building with nothing, the way we keep dreaming despite the weight of stolen futures. And now we are demanding the freedom to use that intelligence for ourselves, not for their profit. True freedom is not a flag or a national anthem. True freedom is the power to shape our own future, to speak in our own voice, to rise without asking, to succeed without apology. True freedom is to live unshackled, politically, economically, mentally. And that freedom is not given, it must be claimed. It must be protected. It must be earned through courage, unity, and the unshakable belief that we are enough. We are not waiting for someone to liberate us. We are not asking to be seen. We are standing, we are speaking, we are rising. Because we have never lacked intelligence. We have only lacked the space to let it shine. And now, we are taking that space back. You tried to bury us, but you forgot. We are seeds. You thought that silence would break us, that chains would tame us, that bullets and bribes would erase our dreams. You thought that by covering us in darkness, we would disappear. But instead, we grew. Instead, we transformed. Every act of violence, every stolen resource, every insult dressed as policy, every lie told in your parliaments and classrooms, it all watered the ground where we lay. And from that soil, we are rising again. You see, we are not just victims of history. We are its survivors. We have been cut down but never uprooted. You came with your armies, your flags, your crosses and your contracts. You came with words like civilization and progress, but left behind scars, graves and broken nations. And yet here we are, still standing, still speaking, still fighting. That is what it means to be a seed. To take darkness and grow anyway. To take pressure and turn it into life. To fall and still find a way to rise. For every leader you assassinated, 1,000 voices rise to take his place. For every resource you stole, a new mind is born ready to defend it. For every culture you tried to erase, a new generation is learning to speak its mother tongue again. You tried to make us forget who we are, but the soil remembers. The land knows our names. Our ancestors are not in museums. They are alive in our breath, in our rhythm, in our fire. You buried us in lies, told us we were inferior, told us we were dangerous, told us we were nothing without you. But the truth has roots, and now it is breaking through the surface. Our history is not a story of defeat, it is a story of survival, a story of people who were hunted, but never conquered. We did not vanish, we endured. And now we are awakening with the strength of all those who came before us. Do you not see it? In every protest, in every classroom, in every voice refusing to be silenced, we are rising. In every woman who leads, in every youth who questions, in every elder who remembers, we are growing. We are no longer asking for space, we are creating our own, no longer begging for freedom, we are claiming it. You buried us in debt, in conflict, in corruption that you helped build. But we are breaking through, because the seed always finds the light, no matter how deep the grave. You thought we were weak, because we were quiet, but we were only taking root. You thought we were broken because we bent under pressure. But we were only preparing to grow stronger. Every time you tried to finish us, you only gave us another reason to begin again. And this time, we are not growing alone. We are connected. Across borders, across languages, across generations, the resistance is spreading, the awakening is happening. There is no going back to silence. No returning to chains. We know who we are now. And the world will hear us not as echoes of pain, but as voices of power. We are not the past, we are the future, rising from the ground you tried to erase. This is not just survival, this is rebirth. This is the season of growth. This is the moment when Africa blooms again. You tried to bury us, but you forgot. We are seeds. And now we are rising. We are reading, we are organizing, we are remembering who we are. This is not a moment of noise, it is a moment of awakening. A moment where silence turns into strategy, where pain becomes purpose, where forgotten names are spoken again with pride. You thought we would stay distracted, divided and docile. But something is changing. Across villages and cities, in schools and on the streets, something powerful is rising. It is not chaos, it is clarity. We are no longer wandering, we are finding our way back to ourselves. We are reading, not just their books, but our own. We are reading the truth that was hidden from us. We are studying our stolen history, digging beneath the lies, uncovering the brilliance of our ancestors that was buried beneath colonial shame. We are learning about the empires we built, long before we were enslaved. We are learning about the knowledge systems that survived even when they tried to burn our books and silence our stories. We are learning economics, law, science, philosophy, not to become like them, but to free ourselves from them. Education is no longer a tool of assimilation, it is becoming our weapon of liberation. We are organizing, because we now understand that resistance without unity is easily broken. They use borders to divide us, languages to separate us, and fear to control us. But now the youth of Africa are reaching across those borders. We are connecting through technology, through music, through shared struggle. We are building movements, not just moments. We are organizing not just to protest, but to build. We are planning, preparing, protecting each other. From universities to grassroots collectives, from the farms to the factories, we are refusing to be pawns in a game we never designed. We are not waiting for leaders to save us. We are becoming the leaders we need. And most importantly, we are remembering who we are. They tried to rewrite our identity. They told us our skin was a curse, our languages were noise, our traditions were backward. But now we are reclaiming everything they told us to forget. We are wearing our names with pride. We are speaking our languages without shame. We are dancing, creating, praying and leading like our ancestors once did. Because to move forward we must know where we came from. And now we know, we are not the children of slaves. We are the children of kings, of queens, of warriors, of prophets, of scholars. The chains they put on our bodies never reached our spirit. And now that spirit is rising. This awakening is not a wave, it is a storm, it is calm, but it is unstoppable. It does not beg, it does not whisper, it does not wait. The time for pretending is over. We are done trying to fit into systems built to keep us out. We are done asking for space in rooms designed to silence us. We are creating new paths, new voices, new futures. The world may not see it yet, but it will feel it. Every African youth who opens a book instead of picking up a weapon. Every African mind that questions instead of conforms. Every African heart that chooses unity over division. These are the signs of something greater on the horizon. We are not rising because we hate others. We are rising because we finally love ourselves. We are reading, We are organizing, and we are remembering who we are. And when a people remember who they are, no power on earth can stop them. Africa is no longer asleep. Her children are wide awake. The world has taken from us for too long. Now we take back our future, not with violence but with vision. Not with fear but with purpose. Not with silence but with truth. You can silence the cameras. You can block the broadcasts. But you cannot stop the fire awakening in our hearts. You may control the screens, the newspapers, the headlines. You may flood the world with distractions, distort the truth, and erase our voices from your platforms. But what you cannot do is extinguish the fire that is now burning across this continent. It is not a fire that consumes. It is a fire that awakens. A fire that illuminates what you tried to hide. A fire that spreads not with violence but with clarity. It lives in the minds of the youth, in the songs of the people, in the spirit of a land that has been wounded, but never conquered. You tried to cut the wire so no one could hear us. You tried to block our voices from crossing oceans, but even without the cameras, we are speaking. Even without the broadcasts, we are being heard. Because real resistance does not depend on visibility. It depends on conviction. And our conviction has never been stronger. You can take the microphone from our hands, but not the message from our souls. You can cut the signal but not the spirit. You think that, by controlling the narrative you can control the movement. You think that, if you portray us as dangerous, ungrateful, or misguided, the world will not listen. But we are not seeking approval from the world that helped build the very systems we are fighting. We are not shouting for attention. We are shouting because the truth is heavy, and we have carried it in silence for too long. This fire you cannot see is not a riot. It is a rebirth. It is the slow and steady ignition of awareness, of pride, of purpose. It is burning in the hearts of students who are finally questioning what they are taught. It is in the hands of farmers protecting the land from being stolen again. It is in the feet of the people marching, not in protest alone, but in unity. It is in the minds of children who are beginning to dream beyond survival. This fire is everywhere now, and you cannot burn what is already ablaze with truth. You fear the light that comes from this fire, because it exposes everything you tried to keep in the dark. It reveals your hypocrisy, your greed, your betrayal. It shows the world the cost of your wealth, and the depth of our suffering. It shows that peace without justice is not peace, it is submission, and we will no longer submit. We are not moved by fear anymore. We have lived with fear for generations. Now we are moved by hope, by rage turned into resolve, by pain transformed into power. This fire does not wait for permission. It does not knock on the doors of institutions. It breaks them down. It does not ask to be televised. It asks to be lived, and we are living it in every act of resistance. In every refusal to bow, in every step we take toward freedom on our own terms. You can silence the cameras. You can block the broadcasts. But even if no one is watching, we will keep going. Even if no one is listening, we will keep speaking. Even if no one stands with us, we will still rise. Because this fire is not fueled by the world's approval. It is fueled by our memory, our dreams, and our unbreakable will to be free. You cannot stop what has already begun. The silence you impose only makes our voices louder in the places you cannot reach. The fire is here, it is rising, and it is unstoppable. Africa will write its own future, in its own language, with its own hands. No longer will our destiny be dictated by foreign hands or written in foreign tongues. No longer will we be passengers in our own journey, watching as others draw the map and tell us which path to follow. That time is over. A new dawn has come where Africa no longer asks for permission to dream, to build, or to lead. We are not waiting for validation, and we are not waiting for help that comes with hidden chains. We are ready to rise, not as imitators, not as followers, but as authors of our own story. For too long, others have spoken for us. They have defined who we are, what we need, what we should become. They have told our stories from their point of view, painting us either as victims or villains, never as heroes. They write our past with judgment, and our future with fear. But the truth is, no one understands Africa like our own people. No one can shape our tomorrow better than we can. And now we take back the pen that was stolen from us. We take back our right to decide who we are, and who we want to be. We will write our future, not with borrowed words, but with the rhythm of our own languages. We will not hide behind accents that do not belong to us, nor will we abandon the names that carry the weight of our ancestors. Our languages are not just sounds, they are knowledge systems, they are identity, they are resistance. In every syllable lies a history of her survival and a vision for what is to come. And through these languages, we will speak to the world on our own terms, not as beggars but as equal. With our own hands we will build the Africa we believe in, an Africa that feeds herself, that educates her children, that protects her resources and honors her culture. We will no longer sell our future for empty promises. We will no longer trade our dignity for the illusion of aid. Every school built with our own bricks, every farm planted with our own seeds, every bridge designed by our own engineers, these are the steps we will take forward. This is not just a dream, it is a decision to take responsibility, to work together and to rise without asking for a push. Africa is not waiting to be rescued. We are not a problem to be solved, or a continent to be saved. We are a force to be reckoned with. And we will stand as proof that true power comes not from domination, but from determination. The future we seek will not be given, it must be earned, and we are ready. Ready to make sacrifices, ready to correct our own mistakes, ready to rise as one people, with one purpose. This is a message to our children: your dreams matter, your ideas matter, your voice matters. Never again let anyone make you believe that your future lies in the hands of someone else. It is yours. Hold it, shape it, own it, and to those who still think they can control the direction we take, understand this: we are not walking your path anymore. We are clearing our own. Africa will not be defined by past wounds, but by present strength. We are not the echo of empires. We are the sound of something new. We are building not just a future, but a future that belongs to us. And no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it becomes, we will not start, because this is our time, this is our journey, and we will write it ourselves, in our own language, with our own hands.